Rose. I welcome you all to the very first Longevity India Science and Technology Industry Conclave. We have been planning this initiative for the last 1 year, and today marks the first day when all of us in the Longevity India ecosystem have come together in the same room. So to open the conclave, I would like to invite Professor Navakanta Bhat, Dean of Interdisciplinary Sciences, to give the welcome address.
Very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Indian Institute of Science, a warm welcome. In particular, all the industry participants. I was just talking to Professor Deepak this morning, and he was just telling me that this is perhaps first such event that's happening in biology department. I would think that this is going to be first of many more to follow. So this is indeed a great initiative that Professor Deepak and colleagues have taken in the context of longevity, which is an extremely important aspect because we all want to live longer, right? So there's no debate on that, but we want to live longer and healthy, right? So I think that is where the intervention that this group will come up, be it identifying the early biomarkers or interventions or what have you, right? So all that will become extremely important. Needless to say that, IISc is a treasure of knowledge. I think all industry folks who have come here, you also know that, but the point is, how do you sort of tap this, right? I think this forum, this interaction between academia and industry really sets that stage, and I hope that this does not end up in one-off event. Those folks from industries and startups who have come here, please engage with us on a continuous and ongoing basis. I'm sure colleagues here would be very, very keen to do that. And of course, Prashant Prakash has just stepped out. He will ensure that that is going to be the center stage, for this initiative. Because only when industry and academia come together, not only do we, of course, create knowledge in academia, but make sure that we successfully translate that and make sure that its impact is felt in the society to every citizen of this country or anywhere else. Hopefully, some of the companies that will come out of this initiative, or through the existing companies collaborating with our faculty colleagues here, I hope they indeed become unicorns going forward. I think that's the goal that we need to set for ourselves, unicorn in the context of longevity space, right? So I'm very, very hopeful that this will happen, and this is, as I said, a momentous occasion, and let's continue this momentum. And as Prashant just stepped in right now, I was just telling them that we need to have this industry academia engagement, not just one-off today event, but in a continuous engagement, right? So let's do that. And again, welcome, and I hope you have excellent deliberations during the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Navakanta. We'll definitely make it an yearly event. I'm sorry I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Suramya, and I'm the lead coordinator for the Longevity Initiative. I'm the one who's been spamming all of your emails. Nice to finally meet all of you. And now to tell you about what we will have during the day, I would like to invite Professor Deepak Saini and Professor Shovamayee Maharana, who will tell us about why this conclave and what can you expect in the day planned for you today.
Good morning, everyone. We're hoping the auditorium gets filled by the day as the day progresses. It's a little too early for a lot of us, right? And especially with Bangalore traffic, it is still too early. But we're hoping as the day progresses, we will have a lot more participation from people here. So I'm going to talk to briefly about why we are doing this conclave. I mean, I'm sure all of you are curious that why IISc is doing it and why all of you are here. So what is this conclave for? Why at IISc and what are we at IISc team looking for? So I think these are going to be some few pointers, and the next slide, the next pointer is actually the main reason why we're doing it at IISc. Aging is a systematic state, it's not a disease. And why we want to say that very strongly, because if it becomes a disease, the pharma industry will run the show. And as long as we keep it out of the clutches of pharma industry, we can do pretty cool stuff in aging and understand longevity from various viewpoints. But what makes aging very fascinating for all of us? I mean, we all, find aging as inevitable. And India, as a country which has been invaded so many different ways and formats and times, we have become very fatalistic in our attitude. We believe that aging is something which is inevitable, so why worry? वो तो बूढ़ा तो होना ही चलता है, देखा जाएगा जब क्या होगा. So we don't worry too much about it. But the point is, as the India, we always been very proud of India being a young country. And if all of us are going to get old in one synchronized society, we're going to have a lot of old people, which is going to be a lot of societal burden in terms of healthcare, infrastructure, everywhere. So are we really addressing the need for tomorrow? I mean, I remember the first time when we had launched the conclave, there was a very interesting point which was made by Chris, that we are already late in the longevity game. I mean, all of us are. Basically, what you mean that if it's for the future, we have to invest in longevity, not for today. But what makes aging very fascinating is a few pointers which I've listed here. We have realized over the years, our education system has made all of us experts in our domain. We are specialists. And our education system has actually trained so many specialists that we have specialists from right ear to left ear to right eyebrow to left eyebrow, from one knee to another knee. We have specialists in every area, and which has actually helped our healthcare system very nicely, but also all other sectors has been helped very nicely. But use the modern medicine, which is the way we approach our healthcare, is reductionist. It's treatment-centric. It believes in diagnosis, and we are actually specialist-driven culture. But what aging needs is a holistic view. We cannot be worried about my gut only when my whole body is aging. So we need to understand how these organs communicate with each other, how the decisions of getting old is taken, and how we can actually get gracefully old. And that's what basically all of us are looking forward to. And so what we need in aging is, I'm sorry, this pointer is new to me. So it's preventive. We are not talking about treatment. We're talking about prevention. What can I do from a fundamental scientist, from an industrial perspective, which is going to give us preventive idea? Basically, before we fall sick, what can we do to prevent us from falling sick? So basically, what we need are tools to assess the well-being of an individual. And those tools are what we traditionally have in a market which caters to sick people. We are trying to repurpose and reuse those tools for now healthy people to assess how healthy they are. And that's where I would see the longevity space will be dominated in the coming years by assessment, prevention, and what we need again, a generalist rather than a specialist, and how we get a holistic viewpoint about aging. And that's where I have to talk briefly about one recent study. I mean, I sent it to Prashant and a few people. This says inflated expectation, the strange craze for translational research of aging. And the craze is the right word. If you look at the West and you realize the amount of money which has been pumped into the longevity industry, it's staggering. It runs into billions and billions of dollars. And if you look a viewpoint from a bird's eye view, what has come out, and we realize hardly anything. All the drugs which were in the pipeline, they have failed. And simply because we jumped either too early or we bypassed a lot of fundamental things which we were talking about. So even you look at drugs, they work in mouse, we work in worms, they work in flies. And thankfully, we are none of those things. We are still human, so that means there still needs to understand what really works in human beings. So that requires a lot of very fundamental interrogations to be done. We need to understand aging from a human-centric view. And largely, we need to understand for us, aging for India. We are genetically different, we are physiologically different. A lot of things people say we eat what we are. We basically eat based on our regions we come from. So we are dealing with enormous diversity, which cannot be learned simply from the Western knowledge. So that's where we think that this paper actually gives a very interesting insight that we still need to invest, still need to work, and we still need to adopt what we understand from aging. So these are the answers to the questions. What is the conclave for? To learn how the industry views aging, and what is our war chest for India. I mean, what do we have? All the industry people are here. Academicians have an interesting war chest, which is completely useless for the industry. Sometimes we simply see that there's nothing which we do industry finds attractive. So there's a disconnect between what we think industry wants and what actually the industry wants. So we want to bridge that bridge and get our knowledge to industry and industry knowledge to our platforms. Why at IISc, and Navakant very nicely put it out there. IISc is an interesting institute that where we have confluence of science, engineering, and now medicine also. So we offer a very unique value proposition, which is very rarely found in India. And I think we are placed at a very interesting position to actually champion this initiative at IISc. And what are we at IISc team is looking for? So from industry, we are looking for partners to work with in this puzzle. We're looking for collaboration, we're looking for funders, we're looking for developing new technologies. Technologies were traditionally in use for sick care, we want them to use for healthcare. So I think I'll stop here, and next is Shova's turn, so I'll not take it into her time. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Shovamayee Maharana. And after the, why we are doing this, what I will do is to give you an overview of how the day will look like. So you all would have gotten, so first of all, thank you for enthusiastic participation. We really have a full day of exciting talks and discussion, and hopefully which will be able to make the bridge. And if you look into your registration kits, you will see the agenda for the day. We have 3 sessions. These sessions are biomarker discovery and diagnostics, therapeutics and interventions, wellness and lifestyle medicine. Each session starts with a panel discussion, which will be chaired by panel chairs, which will be followed by talks, scientific talks by industry. And we have to really keep the time very well. For the talks, we have 8-minute talks. There will be a bell at 2 minutes, after which you have to wrap up your talk, and there would be 5 minutes for the question and answers. On the panel discussions, we have 30 minutes, 25 minutes, after which we'll have a bell again to say that you have 5 minutes to finish the panel discussions. In the flyer, you will also see QR codes. There are QR codes to connect to Wi-Fi. You will also see some colors here. These are the colors of the lanyards we are wearing. So if you see purple, these are the longevity team members, core team members, volunteers who are helping organizing this amazing event. Then there are startup, clinicians, investors. So if you find anyone interesting, you could look at the lanyard color and try to connect to them. In addition, I would like to say, we have tea and coffee and water just outside the auditorium, so you can just step out, and it is throughout the day. We'll have in between tea breaks and lunch. Lunch will be in a separate building, so we will guide you to that building, and just before lunch, we'll have a group photo. So please be there. And after every session, I'll request the speakers to be here for a few minutes. We'll take a picture for our newsletter and so on. And I think I covered almost all points. So without any delay, I'd like Suramya to take the stage.